to Shamanic Guidance. Today we're doing readings from a special someone. So this could be readings from someone who's living, someone who's passed, an ancestor, spirit guide, for starseed kind of energies, those guides, animal spirits, animals that are living. Just a message from a special someone. You're going to feel in your heart who this is. I'm not really going to go into detail on that, but you're going to know who's speaking to you. So we have 3 piles today. We've got, for the first pile, the painter, the second pile, the catalyst, and the third pile, the chiromancer. Timestamps are below, and I will see you in your readings. Hi pile 1, welcome to your reading. We are doing readings from a special someone today. So this is someone in your life currently who's alive. This could be someone who's passed on, an ancestor, it could be a guide, and it could be an animal. So let's flip your cards over. You've got the 10 of Pentacles and the Wheel and the 10 of Swords. You've got when Coyote calls your name. To overcome, you first have to climb. Crown of the Butterfly Bambini. Eliminate distractions. Stop shining light on things you are not. How can you reclaim your power? Influence. And the Captain. Taking command and teamwork. So we have an interesting story where there's a lot of energy being exerted to try to achieve something. This feels very Saturnian. There's a lot of effort and energy being expended on a project or something to do with creating change. So there's something in your life that you're really wanting to change, and it's like something that requires a massive exertion of effort for you, and it feels like it ends up in the 10 of Swords, like it kind of ends up in this shambles place, and this feels like a cycle. So once we go to 10 of Swords, and there's kind of like a falling to pieces that happens, then there's a rebirth, a resurrection. You fill yourself up again, you get strong again, you rest, and then you try again. You try and you try to change this, you put all your energy into it, and then again you fall into pieces and you are scattered and dead. So this is very much like a death, birth, rebirth kind of cyclical energy. Death, rebirth, death, rebirth, death, rebirth. So your tarot cards are painting the picture of you doing this cycle. We see influence and eliminate distractions and the Captain. Even Coyote, I'm not sure what that card is, I'll read it in a sec, but there are messages here suggesting that you are listening to the wrong voice or being guided wrongly in the wrong direction. Now, nothing's ever really wrong, but you're being pulled away from your goal. Perhaps this is something that happens to you that ends you up in that 10 of Swords position. But your reading has to do with transforming yourself, rebirthing yourself from death. And there's this definite message here around you needing to take charge, take authority. We could say perhaps you're breaking yourself out of the cycle of reincarnation, so to speak, the death rebirth cycle. And I'm not going to say much on that, but if you look up the death rebirth cycle, the cycle of reincarnation, and look up Buddhist kind of concepts and theories around escaping that cycle, there's all these words for those processes and phases that you reach once you've been through this and reached attainment of moving past the death rebirth cycle. So have a look at that. There's just something here that is speaking to being pulled out of where you're going, or just needing to really focus because there's something that is pulling you somewhere that isn't serving you. Coyote is a trickster. So the card says, divine detours, the value of not getting what you think you want, discovering greater treasure when you are forced to change course. When Coyote calls your name, you're being given a great gift. The apparent lost detour or change of course has been set in motion to give you what you truly need. The dream weavers know the truth in your heart. So this is a very clear message around, you might invest yourself in a particular direction or a relationship, a career. You're really investing yourself. You have this brilliant idea and off you go, you make it happen, and then everything kind of dies and ends in, chaos and disaster. But then you rebuild and you rest again, you build your resources, you get passionate again, and then off you go, you're doing this thing, and then again, you have this death moment of where all your energy is scattered and destroyed. I feel like you're living the death, rebirth, kind of reincarnation cycle in your life, but while you're alive. And I feel like this is some real butterfly medicine here with that crown of the butterfly card. This message around like undue influence and distractions and that kind of thing, I feel like you're getting caught up in the pain of the death rebirth cycle, that you're experiencing it in your life. You're somebody who's always kind of like manifesting a bunch of things in your life and then they all go away, and then you're manifesting a bunch of things in your life and then it all goes away. And it's like with that Coyote card and what I read to you about it, the detours, the wrong turns, that kind of thing, it's like those are not meant for you anyway, or you've outgrown them, and so they get taken away from you. And it's not like they get taken away, you ask for them to go. Your intention is to continue, doing this death rebirth, where you are aligning to your true authentic self, your true authentic desires. And on the way there, and we're kind of always circling into an authentic self. I don't know if we ever truly get there, but on the way, we're having all these little deaths and rebirths throughout our life. Death, rebirth, death, rebirth, death, rebirth. And if you could not be upset about the experience, it would happen a lot faster and more easily, because I feel like you have a bit of a hard time when this does happen. I feel like part of you totally accepts, like, yeah, this is who I am. This is part of me. I have this death rebirth medicine. Maybe I have a bat spirit animal or a butterfly spirit animal, and there's this transformative shaman's death that's always happening, where you manifest a bunch of things and like you have a whole life, and then everything, you move and you lose your job and you break up and then you go somewhere else, and then again you rebuild, you're living, and then it all dies again, and then you move, and then off you go, you start again. And that's what this message is about. So that's kind of the ground basic message that's coming through here. Now I'm wondering more, what is this about exactly? Let's pull some more cards. So your next cards are She-Wolf of the South, the Great Serpent, Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail, the Painter, productivity and creation, gathering together, and Strong Sun Moon, social invitations, creative pursuits, and joy. So the Ouroboros card, I feel like this is really important for you. This is hinting at some medicine that you have here, where you're entering into the void realm, like the realm of spirit. There's, the 5 elements and one is spirit. It's kind of like you're entering that void spirit energy. This card says, The Ouroboros engulfs every pair of opposites. What is masculine becomes feminine. What is sky becomes earth. What is past becomes future. When this card appears, you have entered the quantum realm. Everything is a possibility. No one knows of the limits of the Ouroboros. Just when you fell into thinking that your life was straightening out, the snake takes you once again into its gaping mouth for an entirely new trajectory. So here's a beautiful image for you. The Ouroboros, it's kind of your thing. Labradorite is a good stone that matches that energy. It's just this energy of you are constantly doing this death rebirth thing, and you are a creator. You've got some really creative energies here. And I like your cards here, your second round of cards, because they're much more focused on being creative, being the creator. And rather than lamenting and getting sidetracked and distraught by what happens in your life, acknowledging the creator energy within this, that you can have the death rebirth in one. You can experience the Ouroboros over and over and over in your life while you're alive. It is very creative energy. It's very much circling, experiencing cycles and understanding that polarities are not really polarities. Like when you have destruction and chaos, the flip side of it is creation and abundance and manifestation. And if you can actually experience that in your life and completely just be at peace with that, like the transitions that you go through are so much easier and more peaceful and more powerful. And you really hold like the power of the spirit of the void in your hands. You can take destruction and chaos and manifest it into its opposite instantly, more instantly, if you do not get distracted by the negativeness, by the influence that humanity has and what common thought kind of categorizes certain things as. If you can hold your center and see that Ouroboros energy in your life, this, your special someone who's speaking to you is letting you know that things would be better, easier, funner for you, that you could really, really start stepping into the creator mode. Yeah, so this reading is really soothing you about what you've been living in your life, because it feels like you've had a hard time with digesting this energy, this Ouroboros kind of death rebirth creator ability, this ability to kind of remove yourself from the cycle of reincarnation, and that it doesn't bother you, it doesn't have a hold on you, and you're observing it and you're living it, but in a different way, in a way that you're a creator. So She-Wolf of the South, your past can be a source of beneficial wisdom gleaned through experience, rather than a stifling burden of regret, recrimination, and rumination. Acknowledge your heroic heart and the strength of will that has seen you through to this moment. Decide that you will utilize everything that has happened to grow wiser, to heal yourself and realize your inner strength. Acknowledge the suffering in what has been, but do not allow it to disrupt or dissuade you from your faithful confidence in your ability to live a more beautiful and healed life. So that's all about the weight of the past not being something we carry on our shoulders, as the card says, but something that we stand upon, a firm foundation that we're standing on. So this is about you really taking up this power of yours. It is a power to be in this death rebirth energy and to not get bogged down and upset by the more negative, the more destructive, chaotic energies that occur for you. So this is all about you acknowledging that this is a gift that you hold, removing yourself from more common, understandings of life and the more negative, so to speak, parts of it, and really seeing things through the eyes of neutrality and through the creator. The creation involves both destruction and creation. The earth has, like earthquakes and disasters that happen, and then there's so much beautiful stuff growing. There's animals being born, there's people. There's a balance of dark and light. And this is all about you embracing both of those as one and holding this as something of a gift for yourself in your life that you can not be upset about. You know, if you had a lot of really bad experiences and a lot of stuff was taken from you, it doesn't matter. You have the power to completely rebirth yourself in a much better way, and then the new things that come will be way more aligned with you, and that they were removed from you. You asked for them to be removed because they were not in alignment with your true heart's desire and your true authentic self. So that's your reading, pile 1. Thank you for listening, and blessings on your journey. Hi pile 2, welcome to your reading. Today we're doing readings that are messages from someone special. So this could be someone who's living in your life right now. This could be someone who's passed. This could be an ancestor, a spirit guide, an animal, a living animal friend, or an animal spirit guide. So let's flip your cards over. You've got the Star and the Tower. Commitment. Painting joy across the sky. What is has no bearing on what will be. What does your ideal life look and feel like? So I just have to cover this card. Rare, raw, real. The Catalyst. Radical changes and taking control. Life lessons again. So this is an interesting message. I feel like it's definitely about relationships and just the ways that things really change, and we have kind of terrible things happen to us, but the goal is to kind of return to your pure, undiluted, undisturbed kind of essence, no matter what chaos or disruption is happening or has happened. This is a very unbothered, unconditional kind of energy that is trying to be born here. This is, for some of you, it's like being able to forgive somebody who really harmed you, but you want them in your life and you want to fix things, and so do they. This could be about reconciling with a piece of yourself that you're really upset with yourself for something that you did, and you're wanting to forgive yourself. This is about staying committed, staying unconditional, not changing the way you relate to something or someone or some situation because of the past or what has happened or something that's done you wrong or whatever. It's about keeping your heart open and continuing to show up regardless of what has happened, and continuing to trust life. For some of you, this is about, life doing you dirty and you needing to learn how to keep your heart open and move on and continue finding your joy and your bliss and your inner child, your inner sense of wonder and miracles of good things happening, good things coming. This energy is very much like, the bull riders who are just able to stay calm and hold their center and just kind of ride through whatever's going on, and then they just get off and walk away, and that's it. Like, it's being very untouched, untainted, untouched by life or by others or what's happened, and being able to ride like the constant kind of changes and chaos of the journey of life and relationships. So I'm going to read part of this Painting Joy Across the Sky card because the meaning is important, and it basically sums up all the rest of these cards here and everything that I'm saying very nicely. So, life can be a sticky place some days where safety and trust may not come easily. How do you trust a world that is changing so rapidly, where people seem more and more disconnected from each other, from nature, and from spirit? Yes, life is a struggle. It can be unfair, hard, corrupt, and hopeless, but it's simultaneously hopeful, brilliant, trustworthy, good, and beautiful. Nothing will ever be perfect, but neither will it ever be permanent. Can you bring your attention to the beauty of the cosmos of nature and all her inhabitants, to see the beauty within each person you encounter? Joy doesn't need the outer world to behave. In fact, the greatest expression of joy can arise from your deepest sorrows. Choose joy today. When you cultivate it and spread it freely, the outer world will reflect it back to you in a form that is so beautiful and meaningful. So, in sum, regardless of the chaos, the disruption, the dirtiness of life, this is about you cultivating unconditionality and the ability to continue coming back to the purity, the true essence of source, of nature, of creation, whatever you want to call it, the universe of spirit, and being able to kind of ride the waves of life while being unconditional and maintaining joy. I've got 2 more cards to kind of see if there's anything deeper that wants to come out of this message. We've got relax the hold of darkness and be at cause, and after completion. And what I like to do is grab the card that I use to cover other cards up and look at the message too. And it says the edge of evolution feels messy. So again, the same message kind of over again, where life is life. Life is ever evolving. There's always change. There's always chaos and disruption and all sorts of things. And the question is, how can you kind of rise above the darkness and the chaos that happens, that is around us, and continue to stay in your own lane, continue to be the pure, open-hearted, beautiful being that you are, and to be okay with and accept the truth that we are always going to get disrupted. Life isn't perfect. You will not stay a pure, untouched being forever. Some of you might be Virgos or Virgo risings or have strong Virgo placements, but just this, it is okay. You know, life is life, earth is earth, humanity is humanity. And there's this real wisdom here. Like this feels like it would be coming from like a very wise grandmother or grandfatherly kind of figure who has lived life and has really built that peace and acceptance around the ups and downs, and that knowing that you have to find the inner unconditionality and that inner connection to true joy, to source, to the pureness, that, you know, the inner child within, and to hold that energy, to not let anything take you out of it. So that's your reading, pile 2. Thank you for listening, and blessings on your journey. Hi, pile 3. Welcome to your reading. Today we're doing messages from a special someone. So this could be a living someone who's in your life, somebody who's passed, a spirit guide, an ancestor, an animal that's with you, or a spirit animal, or whoever. So let's flip your cards over. You got Father, Son, Direction, Illumination, Active Growth, Knight, the King of Wands, the Five of Swords, and the Fool. The Chiromancer, Delivering News and Collaboration. Exceeding Expectations, Let Your Dreams Be Woven True. Bright Baby, Out of the Woods You've Made It Through, What Newness is Emerging. So this is a pretty clear message around how you were in a situation that required quite a lot of like dexterity and juggling from you. It pushed you to your limits. It required you learning new skills. It required you going to new places, meeting new teachers, doing new things. It really pushed you into developing a lot of pieces of you that were dormant or undeveloped, etc., just potentiality within you. So you had a situation that was probably a little bit tough or a little bit dark that pushed you into owning a lot of these gifts. And what happened, regardless of that, is that things didn't go your way. So you might have experienced some loss. It's like you really rose to the challenge and you really fought and you really tried. However, you didn't win anyway. Things didn't go your way. And then after that, there's some sort of process you've been through where you're letting go, you're letting life begin again, you're starting over, and you're quite moved on. You're able to kind of let go of what happened, and it feels like you're pretty healed, and you're really allowing yourself a new day. However, there's this message here of there's still good things coming, or life hasn't met you where you're at yet, or you haven't got the result you wanted yet. Like something happened where you've become this amazing new being, but your life hasn't met you there. You haven't got the spoils of your work yet. There's something where you're feeling maybe a little disappointed or wondering, like, I suffered a lot, or I worked a lot, and where's the thing that's supposed to come out of this? And it feels like quite a spiritual initiation, like you went through a big experience that really got you to grow. For a lot of you, I feel like this is definitely a Saturn return kind of energy. So you might have been around 29, 30, or in your second Saturn return around 59, 60, when you experienced something in your life that pushed you into developing your potentials and becoming greater and bigger and more talented than before. However, everything hasn't caught up with you yet, or you're going like, where's my thing that I did all this for? There's something around, we're waiting for dreams to come true. We're waiting for life to exceed your expectations, for bigger things than you imagined you'd be getting to come out of that experience there. And with the Fool ending your tarot, it's like you're just starting on this new journey, and you're probably seeing some elements of this new direction that's coming in. However, there's still a lot of darkness and old reality around you. So let your dreams be woven true. And some of these other cards here are suggesting that, like, it's not all you that creates your life. So when we look at that King of Wands, it's like you developed yourself into a very talented and gifted person, and you did a lot of spiritual work, and you're very accomplished. However, like, life did not participate with you. Life is not co-creating with you, like, in the direction you want to go, or the dreams that you want to see come true. Things are not working with you yet, or you're waiting. You're in this like night phase. So let your dreams be woven true says human beings often believe they create their world through the power of determination and will alone. However, to truly be an empowered co-creator and work your magic in the world, you need to remember you are in a partnership with your higher power. You are never alone. There are always divine forces at work on your behalf. So I feel like, this experience has left you going, where's that part of me that makes things happen? Where's the universe showing up to deliver things? And it's like you're missing the relationship with your higher self in a way, with your co-creative partner, which is like the universe or higher self, whatever you call it, that part of you that makes things move around you, that walks with you. And I feel like all this is saying is it's a timing thing. It's all about timing and having the experience of that, like, wait, like, where's the things? Like, you're having it's almost like a faith testing moment where you're going, okay, where's all this stuff? And this message is about you saying to yourself, I trust that this will all, it will all prove itself to be whatever. I will allow it to unfold in divine timing. This is going to lead to something. I trust. And it's just about trusting your co-creative partner. Because if you're not trusting, and if the hold-up has kind of made you question things, then you have an opportunity to look at your relationship with that higher power, with your universe, your co-creative partner in life, to go, hey, where are you? And then for you to go with yourself, oh, hey, I must not really believe that I have that. I'm questioning it because it's showing me that it's not here. I'm getting a reality that's not showing it to me. So therefore I'm questioning its existence. Well, then you're not unconditional. You're conditional because you've lost your connection with your higher self. You're with your co-creative partner, with the universe, because it hasn't, showed up in a way that you wanted it to. Well, that doesn't mean it's not there. That means you're undergoing a bit of I don't call it a test, but it's an opportunity to deepen your relationship with your co-creative partner, which is spirit, universe, higher self, that the big, the big forces of life that make things happen for us when we're asking for things. It's that big creative energy that co-creates our life with us. And that moment where you're jumping into the unknown and there's nothing, like there's nothing there, you don't know what's there, and you're jumping with that Fool card. It's like I feel like you're expecting good things, or you're trying to. But yeah, that moment of the holdout or the hold up moment is making you question. And what you do with that questioning is you go deeper and you build a more unconditional relationship with your co-creative partner. More trust, more faith, more solidity, so that you're not questioning, you're not wondering. You just know. You're moving into knowing. Bright baby. I feel like reading a bit of this. Simple truths will help you most right now. Complexity is the mind at work, whereas the heart sees with astonishingly accurate simplicity. Don't worry about the details, the hows and wheres and whys. Those answers will come in time. For now, all you need to do is get back to the basics of what is true, and for you, that means stepping into the light. So that is to say, don't overthink things. Don't let your mind go a million miles a minute and question everything. Just go to your simple, basic truths. You are loved, you are blessed, you have a beautiful relationship with your co-creative partner in life, whatever you call that, and things are working out for you. Things are working out for you. Things are working out for you. Go back to those simple truths and hold on to that for long enough, and you will see things start to shift. However, you can't be focused on getting the conditions to change. Bright baby is really talking about going back to the core energies, the general essence of the universe. It's going back to things are working out for me, things are working out for me, I am loved, rather than, how am I going to make my dream home appear? What agent do I need? How do I build this money? Like all those who's and what's and why's and where's and how's. This reading is saying to you that is not your business. There's something else that determines those things for you. You are not alone in life creating your life on your own. You have a co-creative partner. And for now, it's about opening to accepting that partner in your life and doing that dance. So we're going to pull 2 more cards to cap your reading. And I just want to throw in here, if you feel aligned to doing this, I would recommend looking up Abraham Hicks' talks on going general. Going general. It's all about zooming out, going to like the basics of the goodness of the universe, of the loveliness of life, of the blessedness of all the things that we have available to us, how when we ask, we are heard, we are answered, that nothing's ever going wrong, things are working out for us, those kinds of truths. And to just try to get your mind to do that for a while, where you're just focusing on those basic truths, proving them true to yourself through witnessing manifestations as you focus on these general kind of truths, and then allowing the universe to deliver specifics to you rather than you obsessing with the specifics. So your final cards, you have the power to make yourself better, and honor a legua of the southeast. So you have the power to make yourself better. I feel like that's just underlining that's spirit just underlining that you are someone who has gone through a hard time. You've been denied something you want. There's something that's gone wrong. And we see that with your other cards, with the 5 of Swords in the middle there, with that Knight card, and with the out of the woods, you've made it through. It's like you've been through a challenge, you've been through a hard time. And this is probably why you're questioning and why you're trying to kind of micromanage and control and go into like that mode of like, I'm alone, I don't have help, I have to do it all myself, I have to be this amazing human who can do all the things because I don't have the support from the universe. And you have the power to make yourself better is just an acknowledgement of like, yeah, you've been through something and you can get through it. You can move forward and you can rebirth and you can start over. And you are, like we see you're already on the Fool card. And maybe for some of you, you just need to hear that, like, you're out of the woods, you've made it through, you've gone past the dark night, you're out of the dark part. We see, night next to Father Sun, which is the white, the energy of the spring and the newness and rebirth and that kind of energy that comes after that blackness period, the negretto you could call, and the albedo in alchemical terms. Honor Alegua says something similar. So it says, the shamanic call to the soul can be masked within a crisis requiring evolution, as a problem to be solved and as a creative opportunity all at once. Be in the midst of the muddle with faith that although you may not yet see how, there is some greater benefit that will eventually manifest and ensure your soul's true progress towards its divine destiny. Let go of trying to figure it all out and instead tune into what feels true for the current choice point before you. One step at a time is all that is needed. And I really love reading cards word for word sometimes, because it's just delicious to see like what I've spoken through the rest of the cards all pulled together in one final card. And at the end of readings, I always like to ask for like one card that's going to pull everything together, and I always get it, and it's just beautiful. And I feel like that in itself is a message for you to ponder. So beautiful message, pile 3. Tune into yourself. It doesn't really matter who or where this special message is coming from, but for you, maybe it is from your higher self, your co-creative partner in life. Or from a partner, you don't have to do it all yourself, that kind of thing. This could be a very kind of mundane, so to speak, nothing's truly mundane, but a more human message as well. It doesn't have to be this big relationship with the universe. For some of you, it is about your support group, your inner circle, and the people and the animals and whoever's around you that kind of help you move through life. So that's your reading, pile 3. Thank you for listening, and blessings on your journey.